If you want to make consistent 5-figure months as a TikTok shop affiliate, then keep watching. So this is my own grandma. She has made over $40,000 in GMV just about every single month since she's been doing TikTok shop and posting twice a day with absolutely, obviously, zero prior content creation experience. So let me show you my own results here with an overwhelming amount of screenshots. So since May of 2024, I have not made less than $10,000 per month as a TikTok shop affiliate, and not once you can actually hold me on that. So I've done nearly $4 million in GMV for brands. I've quit my 9-to-5 to make affiliate content, and also I help other people get to being a full-time TikTok shop affiliate and making as much money as humanly possible. Now, the problem is most people, they start promoting random products with random videos just hoping that something sticks. And so I end up actually calling this the hope and pray method. And quite honestly, it sucks. So what I'm about to show you is what I call the consistent creator formula. My complete TikTok shop affiliate system updated for 2026. It is my entire game plan that I use for turning product selection, actually creating the content, and most importantly, how do you analyze that data into predictable 5-figure monthly income on TikTok shop. So if you think that this is just about copying what's ever going viral, doing absolutely zero research, then go ahead and just click off this video. We do not do that here in the slightest. And the most important concept that you need to understand is that you have to be in control of your destiny as an affiliate by following an actual real system, right? I'm talking about picking the right products before they completely saturate, actually scripting the videos to convert viewers instead of getting the wrong audience to just watch and then using that data to actually know when to double down versus when do you actually need to move on from that specific product. And so by the time you finish watching this, you will have the complete blueprint to start making serious money as a TikTok shop affiliate. And so this works even if you are starting from complete scratch with 0 followers and 0 experience making content before, like myself when I started this back in February of 2024. So now I need to be extremely clear about something. I am not making absolutely any income claims that you watching this right now absolutely hit these numbers. Now, because the reality is, unfortunately, most people who try TikTok shop actually don't make money at all because they simply don't even know what they're doing, what they're looking at, or what they should be looking for, or even what they should be improving in the first place. So all I am doing is sharing the exact system and best practices that I've personally used, as well as many of my students, to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions, and is the exact same system that a lot of my students follow to hit their first 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The current record is $62,000 in a month. So I've coached students successfully over the age of 50, like Maris, Trevor, Natalie, even my own mother and my grandmother, as well as younger students like Danny. He hit his first 10K month after working with me. I mean, Tyreek, he's done consistently 20 to 30K months consistently throughout most of 2025. And I could go on and on, but I hope you get the picture by now. So in this complete free course, I'm going to walk through everything. How do you actually get your TikTok shop affiliate account set up the right way? Because if you don't do this correctly, you're going to screw yourself before you even start. How to actually find winning products, scripting and actually filming the content. Most importantly, how do you analyze this data so that you can know exactly what's working? How many products should you test? How long should you test them? And everything you need to know beyond that as we go into 2026. So this video is going to be extremely long and packed with a ton of detail. So really important, make sure you remove all distractions, take notes, and get ready to actually implement what I'm teaching. I can promise you this is going to be the most valuable thing that you watch today. So pay attention, write some notes, and turn your phone on do not disturb. So let's dive in. So how do you actually get started on TikTok shop? The very first thing that you need to do is obviously you need to have an account to post on TikTok shop, right? So I'm getting this stuff out of the way. If you're already posting on TikTok shop, don't scroll away from this video and watch something else. I'm going to be getting to the specifics around actually making the videos, but this is extremely important. And even if you are already posting on TikTok shop, there's something that's really important about your account that you need to make sure is not the case for your account, because a bad account can screw you on TikTok shop, right? So even to get into the TikTok shop affiliate program, you need to have 5,000 followers, right? That's just the minimum that they have. If you're overseas, I know the UK TikTok shop is 1,000 followers, but you need to get 5,000 followers to actually be on TikTok shop. Now, there's 2 specific ways that you can get an account. And the first thing I wanted to cover before I get into those 2 specific methods is a lot of people get confused and think that, oh, I can get into TikTok shop with 1,000 followers in the US. That is not the case, because you are getting into the TikTok shop pilot program. Please, under any circumstance, if any of you watching this video right now are in the TikTok shop pilot program, or you see something about the TikTok shop pilot program, do not join it. You will waste your time. You're going to make no amount of money, and you're going to waste months wondering why you aren't making the amount of money that you want to make. The problem with the TikTok shop pilot program is you can only post 5 videos per week. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're me. I don't care if you're anybody else. Anybody who has made $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 $10 in a month, if you can only post 5 times a week, you are just not going to make any money. So you want to make sure that you are avoiding getting into the TikTok Shop pilot program. Now, for anybody watching this, if you are currently in the TikTok Shop pilot program and you are posting videos, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, stop posting videos. Don't even post any videos, because the problem is when you post shop videos, you are not going to grow in followers. Shop videos, they do not get you a bunch of followers no matter how good your videos are. So you need to stop what you are doing and focus on getting to 5,000 followers, because even if your goal is only to make $2,000-$3,000 a month minimum, you will not get there with the TikTok Shop pilot program. So if you are in the pilot program, again, stop what you are doing right now, and you have 2 options, which I'm going to get into right now, as to how you actually get to 5,000 followers. Now, the first option, the cheap, the free version, the slightly more time-consuming version, depending upon how good you are, is actually just growing it organically, right? So if you're going to grow an account to 5,000 followers, the very first thing that you need to do is actually just start posting on it. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, what kind of content do I need to post? Now, there's a million different ways to do this. What I would not recommend doing is I would not recommend posting brain rot content, AI edited videos, or doing the follow for follow train. TikTok does not like this. Now, it might be okay, it might work out, but if you are doing this, your account could get flagged. And I've seen a lot of people get their accounts flagged without even knowing it, because you're doing these follow for follow trains. You're doing these weird little methods where you're posting random videos of short brain rot content. You're stealing other videos, posting it, just trying to get to 5,000 followers. It is going to cost you more in the long term. So how do you actually find quality videos to make for your page to optimize for followers, right? My recommendation, the easiest thing that a lot of people that I've worked with have actually done, is post about popular topics, right? So whenever you're watching this, go for a news story that's going viral and post something controversial, something that a lot of people will disagree with. And this is just good practice in general, but here's the very key difference. You're going to test and figure out what topic gets you the most followers. So you're going to do a couple of different ideas for your videos. So for example, maybe you want to do a part 1 of a video just to test and see if it gets you a lot of traction. If that video goes viral, cool, now I'm doing part 2 and part 3. And here's the fun part. Make stuff up. Make stuff up that isn't true. Like if you just talk about some crazy news story that didn't happen, why not? Have some fun with it. It's going to be a really good skill, and you're going to grow your followers quickly. Now, this is the most important part that a lot of people miss out on. You have to actually tell people what you want them to do. So if you want them to follow your account, you have to tell them that. So many people, they post this video, you have to be optimizing for followers. So what you need to do, for example, right now at the time of this recording, something that's been popular is the tariffs, Trump imposing all of these tariffs, right? So I'm going to take what some people may consider to be a controversial take. Tariffs are the best thing that have ever happened to America, and they are going to cause the economy to be the biggest and best that it's ever been. And so whether you agree with that statement or not, regardless, does not matter. Even if I did or didn't agree with that, it really doesn't matter. It's just a statement that's going to get people's attention because it's something happening right now. So I would go on and on about it, and so many people don't realize that with tariffs specifically, if you look back 100 years, tariffs were a big thing in the U.S. economy. And make sure to follow, because I'm going to be updating you guys as to why this is relevant, blah, blah, blah. Get back into the video on the tariffs, give a controversial opinion, because comments, you're driving comments, you're driving engagement, you're getting people riled up, or you're also going to build a loyal base of people that care about what you have to say. And I'll get into how this doesn't actually hurt you when you get into TikTok Shop in a second, but focusing on growing the actual account, you're going to grow followers really quickly. And then at the end of the video, you're also going to do another call to action and say, guys, make sure to follow for part 2, because there's some even more, crazy reasons why this matters, blah, 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 right? So you want to flesh it out more and more, but really create controversy, because your haters will comment and push videos more, as well as the people that actually agree with you. They are going to actually follow you. Like, oh, this guy really knows what he's talking about. Very quickly, there's no reason you can't get to 5,000 followers doing this 3 times a day, every single day. And if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to talk to a camera, blah, 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 well, you probably don't want to do TikTok Shop then, because you're going to be talking to a camera. So not only that, it's really good practice to get you just speaking to a camera. So that way you can actually be better at TikTok Shop when you do start, because you have to learn how to speak to a camera. So that's the one method. That's what I would recommend. There's no reason you can't get 5,000 followers in the span of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and make sure you're doing it at least 3 times every single day, and actually engage with the comments, do reply videos. You can get 5,000 followers very quickly. It's really not that difficult. Now, that's not personally the method that I use. The method that I've been using since I've been on TikTok Shop is I have been buying accounts. This is a personal preference to me. Again, the other version is the free, slightly longer version. It's going to be quote unquote more safe. However, what I've done is I've personally bought over 10 plus TikTok Shop accounts. Most of the people in my program that I work work with, a lot of them are buying TikTok shop accounts, right? So what are the benefits to buying an account and what are the cons as well? The benefits to buying a TikTok shop account is you can get into the program quickly. You can get started posting right away. Again, that comes back down to what are your goals? Why are you doing this? If you were trying to treat this like a business, so that way you can make $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in a month, then you are going to have expenses. And that's the beautiful part about TikTok shop is there are really no expenses. However, this could be one expense if you want to call it that. I don't know about you, paying $400 to $500 for an account and being able to potentially make $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a month on that $400 investment. It doesn't get much better than that. So now again, there are some cons. It does have a slightly higher risk of being banned. It's still very small. Again, depends on who you buy your accounts from, but it can happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to other students, but you got to roll with the punches. You got to understand what route that you are taking. Me personally, I've never even grown an account because I don't care. There's no reason for me to do that. I know what I'm doing this for, and I will continue to buy accounts until I can't do it anymore and I have to pivot into something else. Those are the only two methods that I would recommend at this current time. Now, the trap that a lot of people fall in when you're trying to buy accounts is you are buying accounts that are made with overseas followers. So if anybody is watching this video right now, you need to check your audience and see what is the percent of people that are watching my page that are from the US or your just audience in general. If it's not at least 70% to 80% US, your account's done. You might as well stop wasting your time. You might as well go back and try to grow an account or actually come and buy a new account, right? So now this is the trap that a lot of people fall into is because they don't know that these accounts are low quality. The suppliers will tell you, oh, they're made here in the US. Chances are they're not. 90% of account suppliers. So if you see any website, if you just search TikTok shop account, do not buy from any of those. And this is one of the little secrets of the industry is you have to know where to look. And that's why specifically with the people that I work with, and this is not just a pitch, it's just true, is that the account supplier that I use is private. He's not anywhere else. You will not find him anywhere else. And that's because that allows us to get really high quality content. And the reason I gatekeep that is because it is a competitive advantage for me and the people that I work with to make the most amount of money that we can make. So that's why it's hard to find good account suppliers because they're being gatekept, if we're being 100% honest. And again, it's because it's a competitive advantage for me and every single person that I work with. So just be careful. You are going to buy an account. It has to be reliable. Again, it's very difficult. You have to know where to look. So those are the two routes to getting a quality TikTok shop account. Again, it's quality is super, super important. And then the other question that people ask is, oh, if I'm posting videos or if I buy an account from some other random niche, will that affect my TikTok shop videos? No, it will not. I've had accounts from, I think one of them was like a police body cam footage account or something like that. They're posting videos with police body cam, and I posted a video on a supplement, and the very first video that I had went completely viral. So it does not matter the niche when you go from random videos to actual shop videos. That doesn't make a difference in the slightest. Now, the very next thing that you need to do is actually get into the TikTok shop program, right? So now that you have the account, you're going to apply and get into the program, and that's going to give you access to the TikTok shop affiliate dashboard. And this is where everything lives. It's going to show you your commission. It's going to show you how much money you're making. It's going to show you how many views that you are getting. And so that could be a video by itself. How do you actually navigate the dashboard? But you'll get access to the TikTok shop affiliate program. Again, this is different from the TikTok shop seller program. The TikTok shop seller program is for brands. This is for being an individual affiliate for those specific brands. And then from there, at that point, that's the beautiful part about TikTok shop is everything, you have everything else. Now your job is to get the right products and start posting videos. Now the problem that a lot of people do is they go, oh, cool, I've got this water bottle around my house. Let me start promoting that. Wrong. That's a very easy way to crash and burn and make absolutely no progress for a very long period of time, right? So that leads us into the next part of how do you actually pick these products on TikTok shop to put you in a position where you can actually succeed? Because to give you an analogy to help you understand how important this is I would rather be the worst affiliate in the world on the best product than the best affiliate in the world on the worst product. The worst affiliate will make substantially more money. And what everybody understands, this is the most common phrase that I say all the time to people that I'm working with individually on a lot of calls. I say this over and over again. I feel like a broken record. But just because it's a good product does not mean it's a good opportunity. You have to understand you have to pick products that are in favor with the algorithm and give you a high % chance to make a ton of money. So just because, although I drink a plastic water bottle every single day, that does not mean it's a good product that's going to make me a substantial amount of money, right? So that's the key differentiator. So how do you actually find these products that can make you a lot of money? That's what I'm going to be covering in this section of the video. This is a slightly controversial part. The next question you have to ask yourself before we get into how do you actually pick these products is what are your specific goals? Because there are two clear distinctions here. There's two groups of TikTok shop affiliates. Group one is, hey, I just want to get samples. I want free stuff. I want free stuff. I could care less about the money that I want to make. That's perfectly okay. If you want to do that, do that. Honestly, if that's you, you can probably stop watching this video now because it's not going to be super relevant for you. Because if you're just trying trying to get free samples and post those, post one video and enjoy the free stuff, that is awesome. That's great. But that's not who this video is for. That's not who I work with. That's not what I do on TikTok Shop. I am going to promote the products that I think are going to make me the most amount of money and give me a really good opportunity on this platform. And now sometimes I hear from people, oh, but I want to promote this product because I love it. Okay, again, well, you told me your goal is to make $5, $10, $15, $20, $30,000 a month, but you want to promote this water bottle because you love this water bottle. Something has to give. You either have to give on your goal of making $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40,000 a month, or you have to give up on getting the products that you like really, really want. Again, I'm not saying you have to promote products you hate, but again, you need to be optimizing for the products that are going to make you the most amount of money. That is the name of the game. So this goes back to understanding what your goals and incentives are and why you're doing this in the first place. And so if you do want serious income, this is probably one of the most important sections, the most underutilized sections, is you have to pick products that can make you life-changing money. So for example, for me in 2025, one of my top products made me over $75,000. One of my second most popular products made me over $30,000, right? And so I was very purposeful with picking those products because I knew they had the potential to make me a lot of money. Now, let me go over the next mistake that a lot of people make as to what kind of products you should not be picking. So many people, so many affiliates, you go to Kade, you look at the top 10 products and you start to select, okay, let me make a video for Dr. Malaxin. Let me make a video for Wiley. Meanwhile, they've sold 100,000 plus units. That's great. But again, those products, the money has been made. If you look at those numbers, there has been, if a product is in the top 10, chances are there is at least a couple affiliates that made $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, $100,000 on a single product. They are making that money. They won that game. So why are you trying to compete with them, right? You need to find products that aren't necessarily as saturated. So if it's something in the top 10, I don't care what it is. I won't touch it with a 6-foot pole. And to take this a step further, you're competing against thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I don't know about you. I want the most upside with the least amount of competition, whereas everybody else promoting these top 10 products, they are trying to make an amount of money competing against the most amount of people. You see the difference here and see why this is backwards thinking. It's kind of compared to, it's like if you're trying to buy a stock, if you're trying to buy crypto, do you want to buy something at the tippity top? Absolutely not, because you're going to get dumped on. You're going to lose all your money. It's the exact same thing with TikTok Shop. So the sweet spot is you have to find products that are uptrending, starting to go up, but they're not completely oversaturated yet. Now, I know there's at least going to be 3 people ready to comment on this video right now. Oh, but I've made this amount on Dr. Malaxin, and I started this 2 weeks ago. What about me? That's great. Somebody won the Powerball too. Does that mean I'm going to throw my life savings in the Powerball? Probably not. And I don't think you should either, right? So you need to, again, think of it in terms of odds and probability. What gives me the highest % likelihood to be able to make the most amount of money? I'm not saying that you can't make money on Dr. Malax. I'm not saying that you can't make money on Wiley, the pre-post and probiotics, right? You know, the product that I made over $75,000 on last year, right? I'm not saying that you're not going to make money on them promoting right now, but again, I want to stack the odds in my favor. I want to be the casino, not the person at losing all their money on the blackjack table, right? So that is the name of the game. Just because it happened once, there's always a situation of something. Just like somebody, you know, you ever have that friend that's like concerned about the weirdest things that just make no sense? They're like, oh yeah, you know, I heard this happen to one person, and now they like, you know, the kind of people that just won't do weird stuff because they heard one random situation of it happening to somebody else. That's kind of what happens with TikTok Shop affiliates. Like, oh, it worked for this one person out of 10 million people. And that's something called confirmation bias. Everybody has this massive case of confirmation bias. They're like, oh, this happened for this one person, it's going to happen for me. No, I'm not going to get distracted by confirmation bias. I'm going to put myself in the highest statistical likelihood chance to make the most amount of money. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what every single person that I work with does, is we're trying to put the odds of success in our favor. So now, how do we actually find some of these products? Now, in my opinion, some of the best way to start is to focus on products that have painful points, right? So again, a water bottle. Yes, it's great. Yes, it's necessary. Does that mean it's a good opportunity? In my opinion, no, because what's going to get somebody to buy this versus the 8 million other water bottles that are on Amazon or in the store? They're already set on their ways of water bottles. Do I need to sell them another water bottle? Probably not, right? So you need to be thinking about these kind of things actually as you're actually trying to pick a product that can make you a substantial amount of money, right? Now, the other thing you need to focus on is, again, it needs to be going up in terms of revenue. If the revenue is dying down and it's sold 100,000 units, sorry, but that's entirely too late. You missed the boat, and there's probably thousands of people. So we want the most amount of growth that's able to happen for a product that's starting to trend up. It's not completely oversaturated, but at the same time, we don't want a ton of competition. I would rather compete against a bunch of high schoolers playing basketball than probably LeBron James, and I would think that you would too. So you need to focus on having the least amount of competition, because then that gives you the most upside to dominate an entire listing on TikTok Shop. And again, in my opinion, if you haven't done $10, $20, $30, $40,000 plus per month yet, you should really be focusing on products that solve a problem. When do people make a change? When they are in a painful situation. So here's an analogy for you. If you had to move, how long would it take somebody to move from their current house? What, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks? You got to pack all of your stuff up. Well, let me give you another analogy. There's a hurricane coming tomorrow. Can you pack all of your stuff up and get out of the house? That's a painful situation. That's a painful thing that's potentially going to happen. I better believe, I would think that every single person watching this video is able to pack up most of their house and probably get out by tomorrow. They'll stay up all night if they have to. Why are they able to do the same thing in a quicker period of time? Because one is a more painful situation. They're able to make a change because they are in a painful state that needs changed. That's when people make decisions. That's when people buy things, when they are in a painful state. So focus on promoting products that create a pain, and your job selling will be substantially easier. Now, the other thing that I see a lot of people make this mistake of, especially with TikTok Shop, is the commission has to be high enough. Now, I don't actually care about the dollar amount of the commission. You should be focusing instead on the percent. What is that percent of commission that I am getting? Minimum, if it's not at least 10%, don't touch it with a 6-foot pole. Now, again, somebody's going to watch this video and say, oh, well, I made this much on this product that had 2% commission. That's great. I don't care. I'm trying to promote the best products that have the most amount of potential for me, because again, GMV, revenue, the revenue that you're generating is a vanity metric. All I care about is cash in the bank, money, commission that is going to my pocket from that specific product. So ideally, it needs to be at least 10% commission. And here's another little bonus tip for a lot of people is you can check to see what is the commission on the ad rate. Double check that the rate that you're getting from ad commission isn't abysmally low, because sometimes what will happen is it'll show you the organic commission and it'll be like 25%. And then you'll go and look and it'll be 5% on ads. Well, I'm not touching that with a 6-foot pole, because if they run ads, I'm screwed. I'm not going to make any money. It's a little sneaky thing that companies do. Make sure you're paying attention for things like this. Now, how do you actually get the product in your hands? Now, the reality is if you are just starting TikTok Shop or you're trying to get some traction, you're probably not going to get approved for the samples that you want to promote. So it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to do it, but I know it's going to sound crazy, but you're going to have to buy the product. I know expenses. What are those? I'm supposed to be a TikTok Shop affiliate, just having money magically fall in my bank account. But I spend personally, because I do this at a higher level, probably $300, $400, $500 a month on products. Now, in the beginning, you might have to only spend $60, $70. But again, you should be buying these products for 2 reasons. One, you're probably not going to get the sample. 2, even if you do get the sample, it'll take the company 3 days to ship it out, 4 to 5 days to get to you. Well, now you waited 8 days just to get the product in your hand, even if you do get approved for it, right? So you have to be careful of focusing on these samples. I can't even tell you personally the last time that I got a sample, because again, I don't care. I know my goal is to make $5, $10, $15, $20,000 plus per month, $30,000, $40,000 on TikTok Shop. So me trying to skimp out and save $30 on a product, that doesn't make sense. Now, if your goal is free samples, again, obviously that's fine, because you want to do it for the free samples. You don't care about the 10, 20, 30K a month. That's great. But again, it goes back to understanding what your goals are and making sure that your specific actions are aligning with those goals. Because the reality is you are not going to make 5 figures with a broke mindset. You're not going to make 5 figures being like, oh, let me skimp out on this $30, $40 product. You just have to buy it. You have to bite the bullet. You have to treat it like a business. Those are the people that are doing well, is we are treating it like a business with a strategy, with a rhyme and a reason. We're doing everything. Or the other group of people is, let me just post random little products, have some fun, make some fun videos, what comes to my mind. And that's the biggest thing that I see a lot of TikTok Shop affiliates making. I'm going to get into videos and how you're actually making the videos. But the average affiliate, they see this water bottle. They go, oh, this is a great water bottle. Let me request a sample. They start recording once it comes in. Yeah, guys, just got this water bottle. It's pretty great. It tastes good. It's actually on sale right now. You should probably buy it. And that's their video. And they're like, oh, why am I not making any money? And then they rinse and repeat with 50 million different samples. Do not do that. Do not get stuck in sample hell. I can't even tell you the last time that I ordered a sample. And the same thing for a lot of my top students that I'm working with who are doing $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000. They aren't taking samples either. I'm not saying you shouldn't get a sample. I'm not saying that you can't get a sample, but speed matters. And also it forces you to be very decisive with the products that you are promoting. So avoid sample hell, get the product in your hand. And now it's time to actually start researching and filming and posting. So how do we go through that? Now, the biggest mistake that a lot of affiliates make, you got the product, your water bottle arrived at your house. And the very first thing that a lot of people do, they open up this water bottle and they start recording on their phone and they make their video. No. You have to do research on the product before you actually start to buy it. So for me, even in particular, I'm doing at least 1 to 2 hours of research before I even think about making a video, before I think about scripting, before I think about everything. 1 to 2 hours of research on who is buying this water bottle, why are they buying this water bottle, what have they bought before, what do they already know, what do they think they know about water bottles that they can reframe and challenge what they believe that they know, right? Everything about the consumer as to buying a water bottle. I'm looking at their reviews on water bottles. I'm looking at their competitors' water bottle reviews. Why are people buying other competitors? How can I reframe all this? You need to understand the person who is buying this. Now, the mistake that I see so many beginner affiliates make, or even the affiliates who are spinning their wheels for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, is you are assuming that the reason that you are buying this water bottle is the same reason that other people are buying this water bottle. Instead, you need to let the research and the data do the talking. And through your research, you find that, oh, people are buying this water bottle because it is the best tasting water bottle. And you personally think, oh, I think this is the worst tasting water. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the research and the data are telling you. Just because you think something about a product does not mean that's what the average person, the average consumer thinks, and you have to be able to create that distinction. Now, where can you actually find some of this stuff? I've talked about this in some other videos, but things like looking at Amazon, looking at just comments, looking at all these different sources of what are people saying, not just about your product, but about other products, about water bottles in general. Any recent events around water bottles. So for example, maybe a couple companies got busted for having dangerous plastic chemicals in their plastic water bottles. Shocker, I know. But maybe you do a video around that specific angle, and this is the alternative to that because it doesn't have as high of a concentration of chemicals as other water bottles, right? So that's using news events and again, understanding what's happening right now. Where's the market at? Why are people buying this specific water bottle? And again, this is the most simple example. I picked up something that was sitting right here on this desk. Even if it's something as simple as a water bottle, if you are not doing this, you are not going to compete against me or the people that I'm working with. We're doing intense amounts of research and understanding why people are buying these specific things. Now, so we've done the research on our water bottle. Now, how do we actually go to make the videos, right? You're like, okay, great. That's great, Kade. I have no idea what to do now. I've got the product. Should be somewhat of a decent product, but I have no idea how to actually make the video. Now, so here is the general structure, and then I'm going to break down each of these sections here. And again, this alone, like this is like for the people that I work with, like this section alone is probably like 6 to 7 hours of content. But I'm going to give you the condensed version of that and the high level overview so that you can understand how do you actually structure your videos, right? Now, the very first thing, and this is going to be different than what you hear anywhere else. I can confidently tell you that right now. And so many people watching this video are going to be like, oh, that's not true. Oh, that's not the case. I'm going to challenge that, and I'll give you specific examples to prove why this is the most superior way to make videos on TikTok Shop. And it comes down to buyer psychology. This isn't something that I just randomly decided to do. Like, this is based off the way that people make decisions, right? So the very first thing that you need to do is obviously have your hook. So what even is a hook in the first place? I remember when I started, like, I know I need a hook, but I don't understand how to actually make a hook, right? So the very first thing that comes out of your mouth has to be something that grabs people's attention. So for example, I see people start to make videos and they'll be like, nope, done. You already lost them. Doesn't matter. 2 wasted words right there in the very beginning. The second that you start speaking, every single word has to matter. It's like you have to get somebody's attention that doesn't know you, that doesn't care about you, and would rather scroll past you because this is the average person scrolling. They're a dopamine zombie. They're sitting in their bed, brain rotting for 5 hours, and you have to pull them out of their trance, get them interested enough so that they can eventually pull out their credit card and buy a product, right? So the very first thing that you need to do is not waste a single word. And for example, one of the most simple hooks of all time, this has worked really well for me. This has worked well for a lot of people. One of my most popular hooks in 2025, and will probably even be going into 2026, is if this or this. You're just calling out a specific group of people. So for example, my example that I made a bunch of money with, if your skin looks like this or this, I was calling out people with specific problems, right? So immediately, the only people watching that video are going to be the people that has their skin looking like this or this. If that is not them, they're going to keep scrolling, and that's what we want. So many people focus on crazy hooks that just call people out. Like, I've seen videos of people moaning in the first 2 seconds of the video. What are you doing? Why are you moaning? That has nothing to do with the context as to what you're trying to explain to people, right? So everything from the beginning should be very purposeful. You should call out the people that you're trying to speak to and challenge their common beliefs. So for example, here's another one that I did in the past that's done really well. I've made whole videos around hooks and all that stuff, so you can go to those videos after you watch this video. But one of the most popular hooks was, did anybody else see the video of the woman that blah, blah, blah? So I did this hook for a mushroom gummy product probably around like 9 months ago or something like that on my grandma's account. And the hook was, did anybody else see the video of the woman that was freaking out because she cleaned her whole house in under 30 minutes? Something like that. Because again, I'm calling out people. So what was the point of the mushroom gummies? The point of the mushroom gummies was to get people to focus so that they could do things around the house. Because everybody, you're trying to do something, you're trying to clean, and you're all over the place, you're scattered, you have no idea what you're doing, and then as a result, you're not able to focus, right? So that was the point of the mushroom gummies. But I called out the people who were having issues with that because I inherently spoke about the people. Did anybody else see the video of the woman that was freaking out because she blah, 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 blah? She, was able to clean her house in under 30 minutes. If somebody doesn't have an issue with focusing or cleaning their house or getting a task done, they're not going to watch the video. So I'm a big believer in speak to the people that you're trying to speak to and challenge their common beliefs, and not necessarily just do a random hook or waste words. You cannot waste a single word. The point of the hook is to be very precise, concise, and also at the same time challenge what they think that they know about a certain topic. So for example, a hook that wouldn't work is I discovered that, or I figured it out. If you are talking about yourself in the hook, nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. They only care about themselves. People are on TikTok to be educated, and they are on TikTok to be entertained. If you're not doing one of those two things, they don't care about you. They're going to keep scrolling. So you need to bring it back to them. So no hook that you should ever have should have the words I or my. Again, a lot of people are going to disagree with that. Say, oh, I had this video that, it did well. Again, that goes back to confirmation bias. Again, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm not saying that you can't ever do that. But if you're looking for the most statistically likely way and be able to be consistent on TikTok Shop, follow these rules. They exist for a reason. Do not speak about yourself. Only talk about the person watching the video. So here's, for example, if your skin looks like this or this, did anybody else see the video of that woman who blah, blah, blah? So you're speaking to the viewer. They should feel like they're talking to somebody that is a friend that they already know. They're being dropped in the middle of the conversation, and not necessarily I. Nobody cares about you. They don't care about me. They care about themselves. Now, the next part of your video, this is going to be controversial. I'm already going to have 5 million comments of people saying this, and I have endless examples to back this up, is you have to talk about problems. And I talk a lot about this before, but problems is what gets people to buy things, not solutions. So again, let me go back to the most simple example of all time, the water bottle, right? You got this plastic water bottle, costs like $1, right? So somebody's going to say, oh, well, I'm selling this plastic water bottle here. I can't think of any problems around selling a plastic water bottle. Okay, so let's think about the end result. What is the end result of having a water bottle, right? Why would somebody like this water bottle? And again, this goes back to research. So maybe in our research, we found that people like this water bottle because it is the best tasting water. Now, what every other TikTok Shop affiliate is going to do is they're going to have their hook and just be like, I started drinking this water bottle and it's the best tasting water that I've ever had. It always keeps me hydrated and it's got lots of minerals. No, nobody cares. Again, you got to be focused on problems, right? So instead, what is the opposite of a quality tasting water? It is a water that tastes horrible. It's a water that is so disgusting you can't even stand it. So how do we talk about that in the context of a video or in the context of a water bottle? There's nothing worse than buying a whole case of water bottles and realizing that this is the most disgusting tasting water that I've ever had in my entire life. So again, that's an extreme example. Obviously, you're not going to say that, but if you reference a time where the water tasted bad, people are going to think about that. Every single person has had a situation. You ever buy a brand of water that you've never had before and you immediately regret it because you're like, something about this is just off? And then I'm going to take that. So you see, I'm talking about problems in the beginning of the video. I'm focusing on problems. And again, that's what's going to get people to think about this, because again, people do not like being sold to. Think about yourself. If you're in the middle of dinner and somebody comes up to your house and they're trying to sell you solar, you're like, get away, dude. Like I'm trying to eat dinner right now, because you know they're trying to sell you something. Whereas if they're kind of more sneaky about it, I'm using this example because I used to sell solar, but instead if somebody's like, hey, did you like look at something around your power bill? Like, yeah, super expensive. Why are people doing that? If somebody tries to knock on your door for pest control, hey, have you noticed all the bugs around your house? They're not like, hey, you need pest control. They're like, oh, hey, have you ever noticed you got a bunch of bugs literally crawling around your house? Let me show you quick. Every single person is going to be stepping out and actually looking at that pest, or this hypothetical situation of pest control. It's the same thing with products. It's the same thing with anything. People are only going to make a decision and buy and change what's going on if they realize that there's a problem, right? So you need to focus on problems. So the first half of your video should be talking about problems. So let me give you an example here. Again, this is an extreme example. Somebody's going to say, oh, well, I don't like videos that, they have this roundabout way of getting into things. I like videos when they just get right into the product. That's great. I do too, but I'm not the person buying these products. I don't really buy stuff online, to be honest. So again, you have to have this distinction of, just because I think it's personally stupid, the way that I'm saying things doesn't mean that the average person does. Again, you cannot fight psychology in the way that people think. So talk about problems, talk about how annoying it is when you buy a water bottle and it tastes horrible. Or you can never actually find a brand of water that isn't contained with a ton of microplastics, because it turns out there's a bunch of water bottles that has all these microplastics and you can't get them out of your water, and it makes it taste bad. So talk about problems for the first half of your video. Problems get people to buy, not shoving it down. So in this first half of the video, I'm not even touching any of this stuff. I'm not even going to show the product. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to pitch it. I'm not even going to sell it, because we have to dig into their problems first. All right. So now that we actually talked about specific problems, Now we need to get into actually selling the solution, more specifically talking about what life looks like. Again, so many people have this concept in their head of why people buy specific products. In the simple context of this water bottle, yes, I know earlier we were talking about some examples of, oh, the water tastes good, whatever that may be. Sometimes people are buying it just because of the way that it looks, from the packaging, from the branding. That gives this feeling of like, oh, what kind of person am I when I buy this water bottle? So for example, you need to now talk about what life actually looks like with this specific water bottle. Again, I haven't even really directly sold the water bottle yet. Now I'm going to focus on directly, okay, we talked about problems in the beginning, and now let's go back to the simple example of most of these plastic water bottles, they have a significant amount of microplastics in it, right? So now we need to talk about what does life look like now without these microplastics in your body, or more so, what happens if you don't fix these microplastics? So for example, you are talking about this water bottle, and now you're like, hey, you don't realize how much microplastics you are putting in your body until you don't have the microplastic anymore. And ever since I switched out my water bottle and haven't been getting all these microplastics in my body, I'm able to do things that I haven't been able to do in probably 10 plus years. It feels like something was literally lifted off of my chest, all because I got rid of some of the microplastics from this water bottle. Now, again, extreme example, just trying to think of something off the top of my head here, but you see how I'm focusing on now, what does life look like with this specific water bottle? Now, even if it's something as simple as price, we talked about expensive water bottles, again, problem focused in the beginning. Now sell the dream, sell the transformation, right? Of what happens when, and hey, like, no better feeling than just being able to stock up on a bunch of water bottles, and it's just absurdly cheap. You can go to the grocery store, get 5 different cases of them, and not be worried about how much you're spending on water bottles. So you see, again, I'm not even just selling the fact that it's the price. I'm selling on the fact of what does life look like because of the price. And that gives you more money to buy, better groceries for your family. Instead of you're wasting all this money on water bottles, you can take that money that you're saving from water bottles and use it on higher quality food for your family. And now people are thinking in their head immediately, oh shoot, that's what I can do with this water bottle, or that's what I can do now because I sold the dream, I sold the transformation of what life looks like. So stop shoving feature benefits down people's faces, right? So for example, I haven't even started talking about specific feature benefits or even selling this specific water bottle yet. Now, it is important to also get people to, after selling the transformation, of why they should buy this specific one and why they should buy this specific one right now. So many people make this mistake of, you do this great job of getting people to the end, but you're not getting them to buy it now. The only way that you get paid is by getting them to buy this right now. If they go buy it 3 days later off of somebody else's video, even if you did most of the selling, if you don't get them to do it right now, you're not going to get the commission. You're not going to get paid, right? So you need to do some sort of call to action and urgency around how do you get them to buy this right now? And hey, it's actually way cheaper now than when I bought it a couple of days ago. So I put the link on this video. I would recommend getting it because you'll get free shipping and it's going to be substantially cheaper. So you notice I'm getting them to buy multiple at the same time. I'm getting them to buy it right now by saying, hey, it's cheaper than it was before. I would probably buy it now. So you see, I'm also, again, I'm not telling people what to do. I'm not telling them to buy it right here, right now. Or a lot of people on TikTok Shop say, oh, click the orange affiliate link below and double tap the yellow shopping cart or whatever people say. It's stupid because it's what everybody else says. Again, if you tell someone to do something, they oftentimes inherently, they want to do the exact opposite. So instead, I want to suggest to them, hey, you're lucky because something else, right? Or some other reason why they should do it right now. And it's in their best interest. Like, you're trying to do a friend a favor. If you tell a friend, hey, buy this right now, they're probably not going to do it. If you're like, hey, just heads up, like, I think it's substantially cheaper. I think it's on sale. They're like, oh, cool. I'll get a couple bottles. I'll get a couple cases, whatever that may be. And most importantly, also tell people what happens if they don't make a change. So going back to the microplastics, again, I kind of call this like the takeaway at the end. You're like, hey, like, you don't realize how much money you're spending on water bottles until you are buying multiple cases every single day, or until you're buying multiple cases every single month. Like, again, you're kind of taking it away and be like, hey, you don't realize how this is a problem. You need to fix this problem now. Because again, people make decisions and buying decisions based off of pain, based off of emotion, even for something as simple as a water bottle, right? Now, we went through all the different sections there. Again, it's probably a lot. I encourage you to rewatch that section because that's literally 16 plus months of information condensed down into 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So please rewatch it, literally scroll back. You will pick up on things that you didn't hear me say the first time. So definitely do that. But now let me put together an actual example in my head of how I would do for this water bottle. Now, again, somebody's going to say, oh, well, I would click off of that video. You took too long to get into it. All I'm telling you is $3-something million GMV later, countless students doing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K months following this exact same system of not shoving products down people's faces. That speaks for itself. So again, there are anomalies. People, oh, well, you shoved the product down people's faces right away. This person made this amount of money. Again, confirmation bias. You're having confirmation bias because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing the exact same thing. However, when you do things this way, I take over listening. There's a reason why a lot of the products that I do, I'm the #1 affiliate for out of every single person, because I do things properly and implement and structure my videos in a way that follow basic psychology principles. Okay, so here is an example. So I'm not even gonna have the water bottle. I'm just gonna be talking head. Again, we'll get into how you actually film the videos, but there's nothing worse than going to buy a case of water bottles and you open up the first one and you realize that the water tastes absolutely horrible. And what so many people don't understand is that it's not just all water is created equal. It's not just spring water. It's not just all these different things. It's every single water is made differently, and that's going to impact its taste. And for whatever reason, I got this new brand of water bottles and I've been drinking it. And what do you know? I gave my buddy one of these water bottles, and because we were playing basketball outside the other day, and he looks at me, he's like, dude, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not a water snob by any means, but this might be the best tasting water I've ever had in my entire life. And I was like, dude, I told you to buy these stupid water bottles. So I got these water bottles, and I literally have been drinking more water ever since, because it's like I actually enjoy drinking water, and I have bought nothing else since. And the funniest part is it's actually way cheaper than most of the other water bottles. I got like 3 cases of it. It's substantially cheaper than any of this other stuff. And it's like, I'm drinking water more. I'm feeling better. I'm looking better, because I actually want to drink water and it doesn't just taste like plain water, if that makes sense. So I put the link on this video. It's actually way cheaper now than when I bought it a couple of weeks ago. So again, extremely simple example. That's not fully fleshed out. It's not perfect, but that gives you an idea of, you see, rewatch that. I talked about problems in the beginning. I got into the transformation of what life looks like. Then I started selling the water and why this specific one, and also why they should buy it right now, and also why they should buy a bunch. It's all that condensed into about 30, 45 seconds. Now you're going to actually do that over and over again. So now, how do you actually film these videos, right? That's the next concept that a lot of people don't understand, is that you have to realize with TikTok, and more specifically TikTok Shop, people are inherently expecting a certain type of content. So I'm going to pull up my phone here to give you an example, right? So if you are filming your video, and there's a time and a place to break all these different rules, right? So for example, I will see beginners a lot of times, they'll be recording like this. Well, they'll be recording like this. That's not where you should be recording. You should be recording in a place that has you centered in front of the camera, right? So if you are scrolling TikTok and your face is way too close, your face is way too far away, you're kind of like this, that is a problem. You need to look like every other style of content, because if somebody can tell that this looks like an advertisement, that is a big problem, because they're going to scroll away. Again, going back to the concept of people don't want to be sold to. So you need to position yourself in the frame in such a way that it doesn't look unnatural to the platform. And if you don't understand what I mean, I know it's a lot of times harder for, certain people if you haven't been on TikTok a lot, but scroll TikTok. You will get a feeling of a video. You'll get the feeling of, hey, here's what content should feel like. Here's what content should look like. Because even if you have the perfect script, the perfect product, if your video is filmed in a weird way where you got these awkward like jump cuts, that's a problem. And that's the beautiful part about TikTok Shop, is the kinds of videos that work on TikTok, they're very natural. So if you're doing all of these crazy edits, you're doing all these crazy things, jump cuts, you're going all over the place, you're doing B-roll and high production value, whatever you want to call it, you don't have to, and you shouldn't, especially in the beginning, because you should be focusing on making it feel like somebody is talking to a friend. Now, that's the other issue that a lot of people get stuck on, is actually speaking to the camera. The exact same way that I'm speaking to the camera right now is kind of similar to how I talk, slightly more exaggerated version, but I'm speaking at the cadence and the normal way that I would speak to somebody else normally, right? Now, the problem is when you start to make your TikTok videos, your TikTok Shop videos, you start speaking to the camera like this. It's very choppy, it's very robotic, and that's something that you just have to get better at, because tonality can ruin your entire video. So you need to be able to speak to the camera, and there's certain ways to do this, but you need to, when you're speaking to the camera, act like you're talking to a friend, because that's what somebody watching your TikTok video should feel like. So you need to make sure also that the way that you are filming and also the way that you are speaking to a camera is just natural. It doesn't have to be anything else. Like, literally pretend you are talking to somebody that you know, and use language that you would when you're talking to somebody like you know. So for example, I see a lot of beginners, they're just like, they will say something cheesy. It feels like they're on some sort of infomercial, where they'll just be like, convenience in a bottle. You wouldn't say that to a friend, so why are you saying that to the camera? But it's not the point of, oh, it's the convenience in a bottle. I'm going to instead turn that into, and it's really convenient being able to have water, just ready to drink in a bottle. That's how I would say it to a friend. But everybody else, beginners, etc., that need to fix problems that aren't making the amount of money that they want to make, is they're like, convenience in a bottle, ready for you at any time's notice. It's like, I just feel like I watched, a flex tape commercial and not a quality TikTok Shop video. So make sure you are speaking to the camera in a way that you would speak to a family and a friend, not just the way that you say it, but also the words that you are speaking. If you said your specific script or sentence to somebody else that you know, and they're like, why are you talking that way? That's a problem. That's something that absolutely needs fixed. And because this is one of the hardest parts, for me to fix, for me to help people, is to get them to understand your pacing and your tonality is off. Sometimes for people, it's not even the products that you're promoting. It's not your script. It's like this inherent feeling, this inherent just awkwardness about the video that can ruin everything else. So if you don't fix this stuff, this is one of the biggest killers that I see: the cheesy sounding statements, the choppiness talking to the camera or looking like you are reading off of a script. That no matter what you are saying or product, that is going to ruin that. So you have to fix that stuff as well. Now, so you've made your video for a product. What actually happens? Now, you'll hear me talk about this a lot. I talk about this more in depth on other videos as well, but you should be posting multiple videos in a row for the same product. Now, I'll give you a couple different examples of, I kind of call it the 15 video rule. I'm going to be posting 15 videos in a row for one specific product. And I'll give you an example for myself as well as for some other people, right? There was somebody that I was working with and he was testing out a product, and this was an affiliate. He was doing pretty well already. Like, he had, some fairly high months, $5,000 months, $10,000 months, etc. He had a lack of success, and he was kind of struggling for about 3 or 4 months. That's when he started to work with me. And what do you know? He was testing a product, and on video number 14, again, keep in mind, this is somebody that knows what they're doing. They know how to do research. They were doing pretty well up until a certain point. And on video number 14, he went viral for that specific product and made $1,000 in a day. Now, the other affiliates who have posted one video for a specific product and move on, they wouldn't have ever gotten to that point. Not because the video was bad, but because some angles just don't work. Some angles aren't just going to work on TikTok. You might think that again, based on your research, why someone's going to buy a product, but it's really important to post 15 videos in a row for that specific product because it forces you to test it. Even for myself, a lot of times I won't get a viral video for a product until video number 8, video number 9, video number 10, because it takes me time to learn the on-screen text. What kind of script works? What kind of angle works? So for example, is it the fact that people like this water bottle because it's a reasonable price? Or is it the fact that the way that the bottle was structured? Or is it the way that it actually tastes? I don't know until I test that, and you definitely won't either, especially if you are newer to this game and trying to make, $10, $20, $30,000 plus per month. You have to test all these different things, and that's extremely, extremely important. Now, when you're going through these 15 videos, what you need to do is you need to be analyzing the data. So many people don't actually analyze your data. You just post a video and hope that it works out, right? So with anything, you need to be able to track data and read data to be able to interpret and figure out, okay, what needs changed, what needs fixed. So there are 3 specific metrics that you should really be looking at. Your percent that watched the full video, and these are all stats that you can find on your video on TikTok. It's super easy to find. Percent that watched the full video, average watch time, and your view to sale ratio. You should be looking at all of these things and tracking all of these things. So for example, I'm not going to get into specific metrics because again, this could be a hour-long video just on this specific topic and this specific metric. But you should be keeping an eye out and writing down all these different metrics. Oh, this video got this watch time. Okay, let me keep that in mind. Well, this video got 1 sale every 3,000 views, but this video got 0 sales on 5,000 views. What is causing that? What's the difference? Did I talk about this specific angle? Like literally every single video that you make, write down everything that you can about it and analyze it and study the data, because a lot of people think it's just coincidence. Oh, it's a coincidence that this video got 500 views and 1 sale, whereas this video got 10,000 views and 0 sales. Oh, it's TikTok's fault. They showed it to the wrong audience. They blah, 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 whatever. However, I'm going to look at that, and I encourage all the students and everybody that I work with to look at it in a sense of, okay, well, there's something that I said within that 500 views that got somebody to buy it, as opposed to the 10,000 people that saw a different video, but nobody bought. Why is that? Is my hook different? Is my angle different? Is the way that I film different? Did I talk about one specific thing? This is the kind of minute detail that you need to be able to read and understand, especially to get to these $5, $10, $15, $20, $30,000 per month level. That's what it takes. Is you have to be a really good data interpreter to be able to understand, why are people buying this? Because again, that goes back to the concept that I talked about before of, you might think that people are buying this water bottle because of XYZ reason, but it's actually ABC. And when you actually mentioned ABC, it consistently gets people to buy. People are predictable. You will learn that when you start testing a product, there are certain phrases that you will say that get people to buy. So again, I talked about the goalie pre, post, and probiotics. I found that when I mentioned this statement of something along the lines of, it's one of the few brands to have all 20 million different enzymes or something like that. I can't even remember where I got that from. But when I said that line, the video converted better. So you're telling me there's one specific sentence that I said that got people to buy at a substantially higher clip. And to give you an idea of how important conversions are and how little things can make all the difference in the world, let's say you got 100 people in the room, right? So you got 100 people in a room, and let's talk about the difference between, let's just say on average, you're getting 2 people out of that 100 people in that room to buy a product. Well, if you got 2 people, chances are there's at least 2 or 3 people on the fence. So there's one specific sentence that you could say that gets that 3rd person to buy. We're like, oh, okay, well, that's only one more person out of 100 people. But wait, 2 out of 100 is a 2% conversion. 3 out of 100, that's a 3% conversion. Now you're like, oh, that's only a 1% conversion. No, It's a 50% higher conversion rate. That's what you got to understand. A 2% conversion rate to a 3% conversion rate is 50% higher. That means that you are making TikTok 50% more money. If they are making 50% more money off of the same traffic that you are being given as opposed to somebody else, they're going to push your video because your conversion rate is substantially higher. Conversions and how you are converting your videos gets TikTok to push your videos out. So focusing on these small things like I talked about and actually understanding your metrics, making good quality videos is going to affect your conversion rate, which then affects how much TikTok wants to show your video. And despite what anybody else will tell you, the number one metric on TikTok Shop specifically, this is not for TikTok, this is not for anything else, for TikTok Shop specifically, the number one metric is your view to sale ratio. It's not comments, it's not bookmarks, it's not likes, it's not anything else. It is view to sale, because that is how TikTok makes money. They are a business. They are in this for profit. They are in this to make the most amount of money possible. So for them to make the most amount of money possible, they need to get videos that are going to convert and make a bunch of money. So now the final piece to all of this puzzle is, how do you actually decide, should I stick with this product? Should I move on, right? Now, the unfortunate part or fortunate part, depending upon how you look at it, is there's never a correct answer. Now, this is something that's like one of the main things that I help with the people that I work with, and this is not just a pitch, but it's true, is like, how do you decide when is it time to move on? Because these decisions to stay with a product or to move on can be the difference between you making $10,000 or $20,000. Now, I'll give you an example. Ashley, when I started working with her, you saw her case study a couple months back, but when she was on, she tested out a product before she started working with me and she wanted to move on from it. I started working with her. I'm like, wait, why would you move on from that? You should stick with that specific product. And what do you know? That was probably her like number 2 product of all time. She made well over $30,000 on that specific product. So that one decision that I helped her make, and partially on her own accord, but it helped her make, that created an extra $30,000. Just to give you some context as to the proportion that these decisions can make depending upon how you make them. So you need to look at your metrics. Should I stick with this specific product? Am I getting sales on a couple different videos? Very seldom are you going to go from a $0 to $1,000 day on a product. It's going to be a slow grind up. So you need to decide, is that slow grind up worth me making another 5 videos, another 10 videos, right? And again, I can't give you specific metrics because it's never a one size fits all. So for example, I've seen situations where the sales are starting to go up. For example, I'm doing $200 GMV on a product in a day. And then the very next day, by 15 videos, I'm doing 500 GMV. Okay, well now let me stick with this. And what do you know? That 500 GMV turns into $5,000 GMV a day. And I'm doing $1,000 a day 3 weeks later, all because I stuck with that one specific product. Again, I'm a big proponent. Everything that I talk about, posting one specific product will take you farther than posting all these different random products. And again, before somebody comments and says, oh, well, this person, they post random stuff, I guarantee you, if you had more people doing this, they would make substantially more money. And it's the reason why I've been able to get so many people to 5, 10, 15, 20, 30K a month in 1, 2, 3 months, because they are posting one product, fixing their content with quality and then quantity, and by posting the right products with the right system and learning how to interpret data. And this is the system that you need to rinse and repeat. So after you decide, it's the same thing over and over. Research, video, analyze data, rinse and repeat. That is it. That is TikTok Shop in a nutshell from A to Z. So that is the complete TikTok Shop affiliate system, from actually getting your account set up all the way to doing the 15 video rule. And again, that's what separates these successful affiliates from people who quit entirely too early. Now look, full transparency, I gave you a lot in this video and I would recommend you go back and watch it because you probably didn't pick up on everything. So this is literally the exact blueprint that I use and many of my students have used to make consistent 5-figure months on TikTok Shop. But the reality is, and this is unfortunate, you have 3 options right now. Every single person you watching this video, you have 3 options. Option 1 is you can treat this like every other YouTube video that you've watched, do absolutely nothing with it and stay exactly where you are right now, which unfortunately is what most people will do, right? Maybe you'll keep thinking, maybe I should start TikTok Shop someday, but you'll never actually do it. And you'll just constantly go through this endless cycle for the next couple of years. Option 2 is you can try to implement all of this yourself. Maybe it'll work. Some people it will. Some people, you'll be able to figure it out eventually. But here's what's probably going to happen, right? A lot of people, you're going to get stuck on product research. You're like, wow, this makes sense. You'll second guess your content. You'll make a few videos that don't perform and you're like, oh, it doesn't work. And you'll give up because you don't know if you're doing it properly. You don't know what to fix, even though you know what to do. You don't know how to actually implement it, right? Or maybe you'll keep going, but you'll waste months testing the wrong things because you don't have somebody actually guiding you through the entire nuances that I can't cover in this free video. 1, because it would be too long, and 2, that's what it's for. This is to help you expedite your process, right? Option 3 is you can work directly with me and my team, and we can help you implement the system the right way from the very start. So if you are serious about building consistent 5-figure monthly income from TikTok Shop, as an affiliate, click the first link in the description right now. You can book a call and you'll be able to chat with us and see if it's something that even makes sense. Because here's what happens when you start to work with me. We do weekly one-on-one calls where I can personally review your content, your account, and your strategy, and what you actually need to do to fix the mistakes that you are making. And that most importantly actually help you pick the right products before you waste time on the wrong ones, as well as actually review your scripts and give you direct feedback on what's working, what's not working, and actually show you exactly how to analyze your data so that you know when to double down, when you know to pivot, when you know, hey, should I keep doing this product or not? But most importantly, you get access to the private community where students are constantly posting their wins every single day. And these people, and the beautiful part about this is these aren't people just hoping to make money someday. These are affiliates that are actually building real income right now using this exact same system, right? And I know this is the most cliche thing, but we cannot work with everyone because the personalized attention would 100% disappear. This is genuinely only for people who are serious about treating TikTok Shop like a real business and actually committing to something and posting consistently, who want to change their life. And so again, I am not going to make any sort of income claims, and the people that do, they're lying to you. Most people who try TikTok Shop will not make any money because they won't follow through. They won't have a system. They won't be doing the right things. But this program specifically is designed to give you the highest probability level of success by learning directly from somebody who's already done this and has helped dozens of others make $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in a month. So if you do want to discuss your specific situation and see if this is right for you, click the first link in the description to book a call. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more TikTok Shop strategies, and I will see everybody in the next video.